I bet you didn't know Neil Armstrong's famous one small step quote wasn't what he had planned to say. His original words were lost to history due to a faulty transmission. Welcome to our journey behind the scenes of some of history's most iconic events. We often see these events as monumental, happening on a grand stage. Join us as we peel back the layers of time, revealing a richer, more nuanced understanding of our past. Our journey will take us beyond the headlines and into the heart of these historical moments. We'll explore the lesser-known figures who played crucial roles, the decisions made in the dead of night, and the unexpected events that changed the course of history. Prepare to be surprised because the truth is often stranger than fiction. History isn't just dates and names in a textbook. It's a tapestry woven with ambition, sacrifice, and the constant struggle for power. Together we'll shed light on the hidden forces that have shaped our world, so fasten your seatbelts and prepare to see history in a whole new light. History as we learn it can often feel like a simplified story. We remember the major players, the key dates, the outcomes that shaped nations. But what about the messy reality, the human drama that unfolded behind the scenes? The motivations of historical figures, the intricate web of events leading to a single decision? These are the details that get lost in translation. Think about the historical narratives you were taught in school. Were they presented as a series of inevitable events, a clear path from point A to point B? To truly understand the past, we need to embrace this complexity, to peer through the fog of time and uncover the nuances that shaped our world. Textbooks, by necessity, offer a condensed version of history. They provide the framework, the essential facts and figures. But they often lack the space to explore the human stories, the personal triumphs and tragedies that breathe life into historical events. Imagine, for example, reading about a major battle in a textbook. You learn about the troop movements, the strategic decisions, the ultimate victor, but what about the individual soldiers on the ground? What were their experiences like? What motivated them to fight? By exploring these personal accounts, we gain a deeper appreciation for the human cost of historical events. Behind every major historical event, there were countless individuals who played a role, however small. From the kings and queens to the farmers and shopkeepers, each person contributed to the unfolding drama of history. It's easy to forget that these historical figures were real people, driven by the same desires and fears as ourselves. Consider the stories of ordinary people caught in extraordinary circumstances, the families torn apart by war, the refugees fleeing persecution, the activists fighting for social justice. Their experiences offer a powerful reminder that history is not just something that happened in the past. By focusing on the human element, we can connect with history on a deeper level. There's a certain thrill in uncovering the hidden stories of history, in piecing together the puzzle of the past. It's like being a detective, searching for clues and connecting the dots to reveal a more complete picture. The allure of the untold lies in its ability to challenge our assumptions, to overturn conventional wisdom, and offer new perspectives on events we thought we knew. The search for these hidden stories can take us down unexpected paths, leading us to forgotten archives, obscure documents, and the personal accounts of those who witnessed history firsthand. It's a journey of discovery, one that can enrich our understanding of the past and offer valuable lessons for the present. For in these forgotten corners of the past we may just find the keys to understanding our present and shaping our future. Our first stop takes us to Boston, 1773. Tensions are high between the American colonies and Great Britain. The colonists, feeling increasingly burdened by unfair taxes and regulations, are on the verge of open rebellion. But it's a single event, a seemingly insignificant act of defiance, that will ignite the flames of revolution, the Boston Tea Party. History remembers the image colonists disguised as Native Americans, dumping chests of tea into Boston Harbor. But what led to this dramatic act? It wasn't a spontaneous outburst, but a carefully calculated move by a group of radicals known as the Sons of Liberty. Led by Samuel Adams, a master of propaganda and political maneuvering, they saw an opportunity to rally the colonists against British rule. The decision to destroy the tea, a valuable commodity at the time, was not taken lightly. The act of defiance, the image of tea floating in the harbor, resonated with the colonists, galvanizing them against what they saw as British tyranny. The Boston Tea Party was a turning point, a catalyst that transformed simmering resentment into open rebellion. Our journey takes us now to a laboratory in London, 1928. Scottish scientist Alexander Fleming returns from a holiday to find a messy workbench and a curious growth on a petri dish. What he discovers, quite by accident, will revolutionize medicine and save countless lives. Penicillin, the world's first antibiotic. Fleming's discovery wasn't a moment of sudden inspiration, but the result of keen observation and a healthy dose of serendipity. The mold that contaminated his petri dish, Penicillium notatum, had inhibited the growth of bacteria, creating a clear zone around it. Intrigued, Fleming investigated further, eventually isolating the active ingredient that gave the mold its antibacterial properties. Before penicillin, even minor infections could be deadly. But with this new wonder drug, doctors could now cure diseases that were once death sentences. Fleming's story is a testament to the power of observation and the unexpected ways in which scientific breakthroughs can occur. The year is 1940, World War II is raging, and Britain stands alone against the Nazi war machine. The fate of the free world hinges on a daring mission, cracking the Enigma code. At Bletchley Park, brilliant minds work tirelessly to decipher the complex Enigma machine. Led by Alan Turing, they race against time to break the code. The work is grueling, the pressure immense. Slowly, they begin to make progress. Each breakthrough brings them closer to victory. The story of Bletchley Park is a testament to human ingenuity and intelligence. August 6, 1945. The world watches in horror as the United States drops an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan, forever changing the course of human history. The decision to use this devastating weapon, one that would unleash unimaginable destruction, was a weighty one, fraught with moral and ethical dilemmas. President Harry S. Truman, thrust into the presidency after the sudden death of Franklin D. Roosevelt, faced an agonizing choice: end the war swiftly by using the atomic bomb or continue the bloody conflict, potentially costing countless more lives. The decision weighed heavily on him, but ultimately, he believed that using the bomb was the only way to force Japan's unconditional surrender. The dropping of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, and 3 days later on Nagasaki, brought a swift end to World War II, but at a terrible cost. The devastation wrought by these weapons, the sheer scale of the destruction, shocked the world and ushered in the atomic age, a new era defined by the terrifying power of nuclear weapons. Truman's decision remains a subject of intense debate to this day. Often the most profound impacts of historical events are felt not on the battlefield, but in the hearts and minds of ordinary people. The Russian Revolution of 1917, for example, was more than just a political upheaval. It was a social and cultural earthquake that reverberated throughout the country and beyond. For the millions of Russians living under Tsarist rule, the revolution promised a brighter future, one free from oppression and inequality. The Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, promised land, bread, and peace, rallying the masses with their message of hope and change. But the revolution's legacy is a complex one. While it brought about significant social and economic reforms, it also ushered in an era of political repression and violence. The dream of a workers' paradise proved elusive, as the new regime consolidated its power and silenced dissent. The Russian Revolution serves as a cautionary tale about the complexities of social change and the often unforeseen consequences of revolution. The year is 1944. The world is engulfed in the fires of World War II. For years, the Nazi war machine has held Europe captive under its brutal grip. But in the hushed pre-dawn hours of June 6th, a day that will forever be etched in the annals of history, a glimmer of hope emerges from the darkness. This is the story of D-Day, the largest amphibious invasion in history, and the pivotal moment that turned the tide of the war in Europe. In the days and weeks leading up to the invasion, a sense of anticipation, of nervous energy, crackled through the Allied forces. On the southern coast of England, hundreds of thousands of soldiers, sailors, and airmen prepared for what would be their most perilous mission yet. The fate of the free world rested on their shoulders, on their courage and sacrifice. For the young men about to embark on this daring operation, the weight of history pressed down on them. The eve of D-Day was a night of reflection, of quiet contemplation before the storm. The invasion, codenamed Operation Overlord, was a monumental undertaking, a testament to the logistical genius and military might of the Allied forces. Years of planning had gone into this single operation, every detail meticulously scrutinized, every contingency accounted for. Under the overall command of General Dwight D. Eisenhower, the invasion force comprised troops from the United States, Britain, Canada, and several other Allied nations. Their target, a heavily fortified stretch of coastline in Normandy, France. The plan called for a simultaneous assault on 5 beaches, each codenamed after a color: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. Airborne troops would land behind enemy lines, securing key bridges and disrupting German reinforcements. Meanwhile, a massive naval bombardment would soften up the German defenses, paving the way for the main landings. As the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, the operation swung into action. The fate of Europe hung in the balance. Landing on Omaha Beach. Of all the landing beaches, Omaha was the most heavily defended, and the fighting there was the most ferocious. As the first waves of American troops approached the shore, they were met with a hail of machine gun fire, mortar shells, and artillery. The beach, littered with obstacles and mines, became a killing ground. Men were cut down before they even reached the water's edge. The carnage was unimaginable. Despite the overwhelming odds, the American soldiers fought with incredible bravery and tenacity. Small units pinned down by enemy fire refused to give up. Leaders emerged from the chaos, rallying their men and pushing forward. Slowly, painfully, the Americans gained a foothold on the beach. With every yard gained, with every German bunker silenced, the tide began to turn. But the cost of victory was high. D-Day, for all its sacrifices and horrors, marked a turning point in World War II. The successful Allied invasion of Normandy established a crucial second front in Europe, relieving pressure on the Soviet Union in the east, and setting the stage for the eventual liberation of Western Europe. The Battle of Normandy raged for weeks after the initial landings, a brutal and costly campaign that tested the resolve of both sides. But the Allies, bolstered by reinforcements and a relentless air campaign, gradually pushed inland, liberating towns and cities along the way. The liberation of Paris in August 1944 was a joyous occasion, a symbol of the Nazis' weakening grip on Europe. The war was far from over, but the tide had turned. The Allied victory in Normandy had paved the way for the final push towards Germany and the eventual defeat of the Nazi regime. As we've journeyed through these pivotal moments in history, we've seen how much lies beneath the surface. The human drama that unfolded behind the scenes, these are the stories that give history its texture and complexity. It's easy to view historical events as inevitable, but history is anything but predetermined. It's a tapestry woven from countless individual choices, a chaotic dance of personalities and ideologies. By delving deeper, we gain a richer understanding of the past. History is not a static monument to the past, but a living, breathing narrative that shapes our world today. The echoes of past events influence our present and shape our future. The Boston Tea Party planted the seeds for democracy and self-determination. The discovery of penicillin revolutionized medicine, saving countless lives. Cracking the Enigma code showcased human ingenuity and the role of intelligence in warfare. The atomic bomb ushered in the nuclear age, forcing us to confront the ethical implications of scientific advancement. As we move forward, we are all part of this unfolding narrative. The choices we make today will shape the course of history for generations to come. What are your thoughts? Share your insights and suggest other historical events you'd like us to explore. Tech and Trek, exploring the past, powered by the future.